If you're seeing this video, it's because I actually had the confidence to post this on YouTube. So this would be my first ever video ever made. And I was compelled to do a review of the new Brent Faiyaz album, Icon. And I was compelled to do this because of a couple of factors. Number one, immediately I listened to it and I really, really, really love this album. I think there's a lot of standout tracks. I think like the production and sound is very consistent, but obviously has some variation to keep it interesting. And then I think the second reason that I was really compelled to make this video is seeing the reaction on both sides to the album, specifically like some of the negative reviews. To be honest, it was just like annoying shit. And I feel like every time a new album comes out, it shows us like the state of music criticism and the state of like public opinion on things. And both are like in the gutter. If you talk about like the public side, I think people like really struggle to understand the concept of like a reaction versus a review, because everybody has their takes immediately. Like 30 minutes after the album drops, listen through it once, and you're just like, take. This is a 6 out of 10 album. Like, I made the mistake, and this was a genuinely terrible mistake. I went to Reddit because I was interested in seeing some of the reviews or seeing what people thought about the album. And like the first post I read was about the album being a 6 out of 10. It was posted like a day or two after the album came out. And like, in my personal opinion, I don't think you can create an honest review until at least a week after an album is out. Because you have to have time to like sit with it and decide, like, do you like these songs or not? Like, I think a good example of this for me personally is I'm a huge Frank Ocean fan. I really love Blonde. But when I first started getting into Frank Ocean, I liked Channel Orange way better. It took me like a year to get into Blonde, and now Blonde is my favorite album of all time. Personally, on my personal list, it ranks number one all time. And like a song like Nikes, the opening track, I hated Nikes for the longest time. And now it's one of the songs it's one of my favorite songs off Blonde. So like, I think you need this kind of time and space to sit with an album if you're going to review it. If you want to get a reaction off, get your reaction off. Like, I think that's totally fine. Like, but if you're gonna put a ranking or like a score on an album, you get like, it can't be just like an instant snap kind of thing. So that's why I've been giving this album a lot of time and space. I am a commuter student, so I commute to school. It's an hour drive for me, and I will legitimately put on this album and listen to it twice on the way to school. And it has me in such a good mood, like, when I arrive. So, I think I'm filming this on Tuesday. I don't know the date. But it's like a week and 4 days after the album dropped. So I've had like some time to sit with it, and I've listened to this album over 20 times already. And I think now that I've kind of gotten my bullshit out about, actually I do have a little bit more to say about the reviews for this album. Pitchfork gave this a 5.8 out of 10. Are you like, I'm sorry. Like, people are getting paid to put these takes out. I'm sorry. Give me that job. Give me that job, because there's no critical thought or analysis going into this. There's no critical thought or analysis. And like, what's so weird to me is that these publications who are putting out these scores and reviews, like, on one hand, they will be like, oh, this album is like Prince-like, or they'll compare it to Frank Ocean because Brent Faiyaz is shifting his voice, or he's doing pitch shifting. And like, my thing about it is like, Brent Faiyaz with this album has definitely made a transition in his lyrical style and his production style. It's true that he is pitch shifting his voice. But for one thing, Frank Ocean didn't fucking invent pitch shifting. Personally, I think he perfected it. I think he did perfect it. But he didn't fucking invent it. And also, whenever someone is like shifting their voice, that doesn't immediately make a song or album experimental. And also, like, doesn't have to be for it to be good either. So, like, something that was annoying to me about these critical reviews is they were comparing the album and the shift to, like, Prince and Frank Ocean and some of these larger shifts in R&B that are, like, historic. And I don't see this as a historic shift in R&B at all. I think it's honestly, it's probably a pretty historic shift for Brent as an artist. But I don't think this is changing the genre in any way. And also, it doesn't have to be a good album. But also, the same publications that are calling this, like, Prince-like, comparing it to Frank Ocean because he's shifting his voice, are giving it 6s and 5s and, like, 6.5s. And it's just like, y'all don't have to live in extremes. Like, if you think it's a 6, don't call it, Prince in one sentence and then shit on it in the other. That makes zero sense. But in my mind, this album is not a 6 out of 10 at all. Not a 6 out of 10. Like I said, I've been sitting with this album for over a week. I've listened to it over 20 times. And by the way, I don't think you have to listen to this album 20 times to have a valid opinion on it. I think you should probably listen to it more than 5 times, because this is something that I really appreciate about this album, is the original version, not the deluxe, or the director's cut, which, like, Brent is so funny because he called his deluxe album the director's cut, which is, like, that's the most Brent shit I've ever fucking seen. It's like, it's giving a little bit of performative from that end. But no, the original album, not the deluxe, is 31 minutes, right? I think that's one of my favorite things about this album. I'm going to start to get into, like, my own personal review. One of my favorite things about this album is, like, it's brief. It's not bloated at all, which I think right now, like, Casino, Keem's new album, GNX from last year, Don't Tap the Glass, Icon, this album, a lot of people are cutting a lot of the fat off of their albums, and it's what's the Clips album? The Clips album, 13 songs, 40 minutes. Like, a lot of the people are cutting down the runtimes, cutting down the amount of tracks, and really focusing on being like, okay, I'm going to give you 10 to 13 really good songs, and I'm going to focus on making these songs really good. And I think in the case of Icon, Brent was really successful in that. I think there's one song that's a little bit iffy for me, but I still think it's good. I'll get to that song, but 10 tracks. It's 31 minutes, I think, the original album. It's very concise, but it's like, it's short, it's sweet, it's simple, it's really good. It doesn't veer off in any unnecessary directions. Like, the production is clear, it has a very specific task, and it stays to that task throughout the album. It's beautiful, it's light, it's airy, spacious. Like, it's not what you expect from a Brent album, but it is what you needed, and you didn't know that you needed that from a Brent album. And it's beautiful, it's amazing. And speaking of the production, I kind of want to go, like, track through track and give, like, I might give, like, ratings for the track or just, like, my general opinions on the track. But starting with White Noise, I really love White Noise. Part of that is, like, for me personally, the function it plays in the album. It opens the album, but also because I find this album really easy to re-listen to, it's a really nice, like, break in between Vanilla Sky and, Wrong Faces. Like, it kind of creates a, like, really strong replayability that kind of just, like, you forget, at least me, when I'm re-listening to the album, I forget that the album is starting again when I hear White Noise, which I think, like, really well named in that way. I also think that it's just beautiful. Like, it's beautiful. I think it's, especially these days, it's very hard to, keep an audience's attention without saying anything, making a song dynamic and interesting, without saying anything. So opening up with this like instrumental orchestral kind of opening track and letting it play for 2 minutes, I think that's an interesting move. Like, some of the reviews I saw were like people being like, oh, this album feels like, like a label had a lot to do with anything. I feel like if a label had a lot to do with this album, it wouldn't open up with White Noise at all. I think this is an artist setting their intentions for the rest of the album. They're also like literally laying the foundation of what you're going to hear for the rest of the album. Like, everything that you hear on White Noise, you're probably going to hear again. I haven't like gone through and like, checked boxes of every instrument that was on White Noise through the album, but basically the sounds you hear on White Noise, you're going to like hear them or similar sounds again throughout the album. So I think it kind of just does this job of settling you into the world of Icon in a really beautiful way. If I was going to rate it, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I think you have to think about that in the context of, what it's doing. Like, it's an intro, it's an opener, there's no singing or speaking at all. So, like, for what it is, it's an 8 out of 10. It's brilliant. I think it's really good. The next track is Wrong Faces, which I really like Wrong Faces. I think, like, Brent's writing to me on this album is pretty simple and straight to the point. And I think a lot of that has to do with the subject matter of it being like kind of a love album. And Brent is definitely making effort to stray away from like the toxic habits or ways of thinking from like Wasteland. When I think about Wasteland, this album is like the opposite to me in so many ways. Wasteland is one of his longer, if not his longest albums. Wasteland might be his longest album. And if you like kind of put Icon and Wasteland next to each other, it's pretty interesting. Like, Wasteland opens with Villain's Theme, which is like very dark, and it does the same thing that White Noise does of like establishing the musical motifs of the album, but also like some of the like thematic intentions of the album. It's called fucking Villain's Theme, and like I think Wasteland is Brent like kind of embracing his strongest villain, where on Icon I think he's doing the opposite. I think he's embracing the lover boy inside of him. Crazy phrasing, but yeah. I think Wrong Faces is like sweet, simple, straight to the point. To me, it's a 7.5 out of 10. It's a nice follow up to White Noise and like a nice way of like really introducing the album. I would say it keeps the momentum, both if you're starting or replaying. It maintains the momentum, which I think is really important for like the start of the album. I don't think you have to come off to this scorching hot start. I think the way that this album is sequenced, as far as like the momentum, is actually really good, because you kind of like, you don't know, you're dropped into the world with White Noise, and then like you start to build momentum with Wrong Faces, and then you get into Have To, and you start to understand a little bit more of like the direction that this album is going into. And by the time you get to Have To, I think you're fully immersed in the world. I think Have To is also an 8 out of 10. Again, like very simple, sweet, straightforward songwriting. Like, I'll pack and ship if I have to. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to come for you. And it's just catchy. It's very catchy, and it sticks in your head a lot. And like, same as Wrong Faces, it's carrying that momentum forward into the fourth track, which is, in my opinion, where the momentum just explodes. And to me, this song is like the core of the album. Obviously, it's not like the middle of the album. It's close to the middle of the album. But this is like sonically, lyrically, thematically, this is the center of the album. Butterflies. Like, think about like one of my favorite things that can happen in music, but specifically R&B, is like a very subtle drop in the beat or like shift. There's like, I don't know if it's a full modulation, but like the first 15 to 30 seconds, I want to say, is like this kind of lighter fluty stuff, and then I think of the drums kick in, and there's like some stuff that happens where it's not obvious, but you kind of feel a shift in the song immediately, and that's when Brent comes in, and it's fucking angelic. It's fucking angelic. Like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Butterflies is the most beautiful song off of this album. It is, for me, so far, best song of the year that I've heard. Best song I've heard in 2026 is Butterflies. And that's a 10 out of 10. Like, and I'm standing on that take. Like, say whatever you want to say about this album. If you don't think that Butterflies is a good song, then I'm sorry, your take is invalid. It's invalid. Like, it's just one of those songs that just, like, hits you. It really, really hits you. And I think the best part about Butterflies is you can tell in the lyrics that there's a very specific feeling that Brent is trying to convey in this song, which is like that feeling of falling in love, which is very like hard to define. It's hard to, like, there's so many different ways that you feel a feeling of falling in love, but it's kind of those butterflies, and you really feel that in the production of this song, the way it's sung, and the lyrics. It all works so well together to just convey a feeling. And I think that's the best part of this album to me, along with like the runtime and the focus, is the vibe. Like, this is very vibe committed. Brent is very focused, and he is succeeding at creating these vibes. And Butterflies is like, that's the song. That's the song of the album. It exemplifies the entire vision and focus of the album, the production of the album, the lyrics, everything, I think, is kind of like, Butterflies is like kind of the thesis of the album to me. And then Other Side, which is, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Other Side is, when I was first listening to the album, my immediate reaction was Michael Jackson. Like, this is Brent's Michael Jackson impression. And, like, as I've continued to listen, I get the same feeling. Not to the point that, like, I feel like Brent is, like trying to be Michael Jackson, but, like, you can clearly feel, like, that kind of, like, 80s R&B Michael Jackson kind of feel. There's, like, this very strong feeling about the song, specifically in the way that he's singing. I would say the production definitely supports that, but specifically in the way that he's singing is, yeah, strong, heavy Michael Jackson vibes. Yeah, it's a decent song. I actually really do enjoy it. I think it's an 8.5 out of 10 for me. And also I think something really interesting about, I guess, like, almost like meta about, it's the halfway point in the album as far as like tracks. It's the 5th track on a 10-track album, and it's like Other Side. So like I kind of see it as like transitioning into the second half of the album in this kind of like newer style, and I think you feel that transition in the 6th track, Strangers, because to this point the whole album has kind of been like Brent in his lover boy mode. Like, he's just talking about how much he loves this person, like all the things he'll do, seeing this person in his dreams, all this stuff. And then we get Strangers, which is like a breakup song, which is like a very classic Brent topic, is a breakup song, but the way he approaches it is like, it's like unlike anything I've ever seen or experienced from Brent Faiyaz before, because you, like, if you think about, okay, a Brent Faiyaz breakup song, what is that going to be like? It's going to be toxic as hell. You expect that to be so toxic, but Strangers is really vulnerable. It's really sweet. I think there's a lot of grace that's given to like the other side of the relationship that doesn't really exist on other albums from Brent Faiyaz. And I think like you can feel some maturing, some like, you know, feelings of like, I just turned 30, I gotta lock in a little bit. Yeah, I think it's really good. Strangers, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it because it shows a clear growth sonically, lyrically, and just like in Brent as an artist slash person. It's a 6. No, it's a 7 out of 10 for me. It's not my favorite off the album, but it's not bad by any means. I don't think there's a bad song on this album, but the next song is probably my least favorite. The World Is Yours, right? Or whatever. This is the second song on this album that has a really strong Michael Jackson feel to me. And the only reason I don't really love this song is because of like the chorus with the voices in the background that aren't Brent's. They're kind of like monotone and they're also pitch shifted, I think. And it just doesn't, it's literally the one moment in the album that kind of takes me out of it a little bit. Like, for the rest of the album, I'm in it, I'm involved, I'm immersed, I'm feeling it. But, yeah. And it's also literally that one part that takes me out of it. The rest of the song I really enjoy. I really love, actually, The World Is Yours might have, like, my least favorite and second favorite, because Butterflies has my favorite moment on the album, but like my second favorite moment on the album is that kind of that like electric guitar, like not a solo but the outro on World Is Yours. So there's definitely some highs on the song, but there are some things like that take me out of it a little bit. So I think that World Is Yours, the 7th track, is a 6 out of 10. And that's the lowest ranking. That's like the lowest I have on this album is that track. And then what's the next one? 4 Seasons? 4 Seasons I really love. 4 Seasons is very sweet. It's just like, it really is a vibe. I give it an 8 out of 10. I think the only thing you can really take away from the song is like it's very cliche. It's very cliche, but honestly, the lyrics. But I don't really find myself paying so much attention to the lyrics on this song because the production surrounding it is really good. The way Brent is selling the song is really good. I think that's the most important part about this song, and I would even extend this to the album, because Brent definitely does dip into some more cliche ideas when he's talking about love on this album, but you don't, at least I personally, I don't really feel that at all. I don't feel any of that cliche stuff just because Brent is selling the feeling so well. Like when Brent is singing this, the way he's singing it, you feel like he's the first person who's ever thought of these things, even though they're like, especially on 4 Seasons, like really cliche lines like, you're as hot as the summer and cold as the winter. Like, okay, Brent. Like, yeah, that's okay. But he sells it really well in a really good way. I give that 8 out of 10, right? What's the next one? It's not the Pure Fantasy. Pure Fantasy. The 9th track. I really love this song. It kind of just like has a very like swingy kind of feel to me. Yeah, like a very nice rhythm, a very subtle but like propelling momentum to me. I think it's a 9 out of 10. I think it's like you're starting to wrap up the album and finish off a lot of these themes, but you're still carrying this momentum. The album never loses momentum to me, except for that one, the few moments on The World Is Yours. But Pure Fantasy is really nice. Really good. And then Vanilla Sky. I think it's a good outro track. I think it's like calm. It's cool. It's nothing like insanely special to me. I like the crowd noises that kind of come in and out of the song. It's like a nice kind of outro vibe. It's more chill. It plays really well into white noise because like you're calming down, and we're really coming down from the album experience, I think, on Vanilla Sky. And to me, it's a 7 out of 10. It's a 7 out of 10. But I think now that I've gone through the original album, not the deluxe, I do want to touch on the 2 songs on the deluxe and also my general opinion about the deluxe. So I'm going to start with the 2 songs. There's Full Moon, and then there's like, I can't remember the name, but the 12th track on the album's Full Moon. Holy shit, this rivals Butterflies to me. Like, there's something magical in this song. Like, Brent put crack in this song. He put crack in Butterflies, and he put crack in this song. Those 2 songs are like, they're going to be in heavy rotation. And every time I've gone back to the album, first of all, I've always gone back to the deluxe. I'm going to touch on that in just a minute. But every time I go back to the album, I either, like, I really either want to start with Butterflies or Full Moon. Like, those are the 2 songs that draw me in the most. And then the 12th track, I think, is also really good. I think it's actually, if I were going to rank the songs on this album in terms of, like, memorability, Butterflies, Full Moon, Have To, and then the 12th track, which is pretty funny because I can't remember the name, but the 12th track would come in at 4th. I think it's one of the stronger songs on this album, which is, it's really funny because I think 2 of the top 4 songs on this album are on the fucking deluxe. And this is the thing, this is like really my only gripe with this album is we didn't need to get these last 2 songs in the director's cut. Even the way that they're ordered in the deluxe, the way that they're sequenced with the rest of the album is fucking perfect. It's literally perfect. And we didn't need this to be a deluxe. This just needed to be the album. It should have been the album. And like, I think that's just like really semantics because like he dropped it like a week later. I think like realistically it is the album. But if you're going to just drop the whole album a week later, make it the album. That's really my only issue with Icon. Like, at all. I think this is an amazing album. If I'm going to end with my score, the lowest score I gave was a 6. The highest was a 10. And pretty consistently, I was giving 8s and 7s. Just like song to song. I think it's very consistent. It's very strong. It doesn't deviate from its themes in any ways that's like distracting. So I think this is either like, I was going to say a 7.5 or an 8, but I'm going to give it like a 7.8. I think Saunderson is an 8 out of 10, and I think Saunderson is Brent's best album. I think this is a 7.8 out of 10 with the ability to climb to like an 8.5. Because I think with time, this could be Brent's best album. That's how I feel about this album. I feel really strong about it. I think it's really good. Yeah, it's beautiful, it's simple, it's sweet, it's straightforward. Like, there's really nothing more you could ask for from an R&B album. Again, if you're seeing this video, this is my first video that I've ever posted to YouTube. So if you appreciated it, let me know. Drop a comment, subscribe, like maybe. Let me know if you like the 0 cuts, 1 take style. Because I'm just gonna record on my phone. If you want more videos, let me know. More album reviews. I have a lot of ideas to share. But yeah, thank you guys. Let me know if you appreciate it.